as well. And when someone's that close behind, it's hard to get completely in your rhythm.
I was about to say, it looks like the 3 drivers behind Velkov look like they've settled into a rhythm and they're quite evenly matched. But as well, you know, when battles are going on throughout the field, some guys are getting delayed, assisting these front guys. Got Cunniff quite close to Allert, that's for 5th and 6th positions. Nelson in 7th, Thompson 8th, Rodriguez 9th. You would think Rodriguez would catch Thompson soon. Thompson looks to be going slowly. Wonder what happened to him. Look, he's been off the road. Oh, he lost it over the hill, over that crest from turn 3. Turn 2, I believe. And he spun round. He's let a lot of people through. I don't think he hit anything though, so I think he'll be on his way. He is.
Just gonna have a quick replay of that now.
Lost a lot of places though. In fact, Thompson looks like he's down to 13th, so down actually behind his teammate Aaron Mullen, who's been off the road as well.
Ah, so yeah, look, he just was sideways.
Did he lose it on the way in, didn't he?
Yeah, he lost it on the way in. I think he avoided hitting the wall, which was his main priority, so he just got himself back on track.
Yeah, that was lucky for him, and it was a good job to stay
Oh, and we've got
wall.
one of the Rapax cars around. I'm not sure who that is. It's Matijevich. So, and he's just waiting and waiting to get around. Everybody streaming through there. So easily down to a good 10th place as well. So
that's Mullen. Doesn't appear that he's going to challenge him. But that Mullen was, he's in 12th place. So Matijevich is down to 11. Quite a way down now as well, as just behind actually Conrad Venter, the lap down. Lee Thompson, who's down to 13th, recovering. Not a good start for Caterham at all, Alex.
No, I mean, it's great to see Lee still in the race at this point, I have to say. I think that's one thing they'll be happy with.
You missed it last week when he scored some good points. And had a very strong race.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm his bad luck charm in this commentary box.
Oh dear, maybe.
He's getting his own back in the GP series, though, I have to say.
This is it. You just interchange the names, don't you? Really? In that one, unfortunately. But you had a good, had a pretty decent run last week at Martigues. Say it's your worst track.
Yeah, pretty happy with that. Solid points. That's all that matters. Looking good for this week. So
finishing in the top 10 was all you needed to do really last week. This week, Watkins Glen. And hopefully we'll see you on the podium there. I think that can happen. As
got Williams here for Dams, got Cameron Barker slowly reeling in on him. If we just have a look at the lap times, there's nothing between them, but just a fraction faster was Barker. 9th and 10th.
I would be a little remiss if I didn't ask you actually about this weekend. Watkins Glen's one of your favourite tracks, isn't it? You must be looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, very much so. I think currently I'm sat 3rd on the grid at the moment, so should be interesting for tomorrow. I think we've probably got a couple of drivers still to qualify, so maybe hopefully start in top 5 and try and net myself a podium finish at the end of the day.
Yep, and one of Alex's races will be broadcast this weekend on ARLTV. We're not quite sure which one. Is it normally the
6 o'clock?
4 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 6 o'clock GMT on Sunday.
Well, that will be live on ARLTV. We'll be joining the man who we were just talking about, Lee Thompson, for that one. And all our colleagues doing a very good job there as we now focus back on probably the closest battle on the track, which is between, well, there's 2 battles really. Colin Cunniff in 4th and John Allett in 5th. And then you've got Nelson in 6th and Rodriguez in 7th. So fighting for good points, these guys.
Yeah, Rodriguez looks like he's closing up slowly as well. Just have a quick look at that. And Nelson's off straight on into the hairpin. That's a killer. He's going to lose loads of time there. Still trying to recover. Sears is through, Williams is through, Barker's through, Matejevic's catching up as well.
He might as well have been in the middle of a cornfield now. He was so far away from the road. As that's the problem, though, isn't it? On this track, if you go off, you're in complete no man's land.
I have to say that's probably one of the hardest corners on the whole of iRacing. If you get it wrong big time. It costs you dearly. So.
And the faster the car, the harder the corner is as well, which is not always the case. I remember, I think, driving this car on this track. That, like I said, that downhill braking as you're turning right, it's an absolute killer. As we've got Liam Williams just ahead of Cameron Barker. Williams seems to have improved his pace from qualifying. There have been a couple of mistakes by others, but it's interesting that when the qualifying's so close, Alex, we see different people being faster in the race.
Yeah,
and 2 wheels on the gravel for Williams, that might have slowed him down a little bit.
Yeah, and he actually had a pretty bad lap for him as well, half a second off of what he did the previous one, and Barker's caught up. Yeah, well, half a second as well there, so he's putting him under a lot of pressure at the moment.
Yeah, I have to say it was a lot closer to Sears on the previous time round. Quite close in that midfield though, isn't it? There's 5 seconds between Williams in 8th and Matejevich in 11th. Sorry, and Mullen in 12th, so quite condensed in there as we thought it might be.
Yeah, well, there's only a second or so covering pretty much the entire grid, so...
Well, that's it.
I have to say, it's probably spread out a little bit more than what I thought it would have done at this point.
As
13 of 40.
Cameron Barker having a look into the first corner, but Williams too far away there. As Velkov now leads by 4 seconds over Marco Montaldo, with Rabstin 1.6 behind the Italian. So Wojciech Rabstin driving solidly this week. We wanted good performances out of the pole, and we look like we're getting those.
Yeah, Wojciech always a driver who seems like he's had the ability, but just failed to deliver on so many occasions. And you know, I hope I don't curse him right now. We're saying that he's doing the job today so far, and let's hope he can push Montaldo, and we have a good race for that P2.
Let's have a look at the times then. Velkov 1:35.0, Montaldo 5.5, Rabstin 5.5 as well, Cunniff 5.8, Allert 5.6, Rodriguez 5.7, Charles Sitz 6.1. So all very close as we see a move here developing between Matejevich and Nelson. Matejevich not quite close enough to throw one up the inside of the Arden man. Yeah,
it's only a matter of time. I think both these drivers obviously looks like they're being held up by Cameron now. And Cameron's actually dropped back from Williams as well. So
2 wheels in the gravel for Barker, and as Nelson's trying to defend from Matejevich. Matejevich, it's so difficult to overtake down into that hairpin.
And we've got somebody off. Who was that? Is that Sears? Is that Sears?
It is Sears. So it's normally Colin Cunniff that's been spinning. This time Sears goes round in the second Coloni. I must admit, the Coloni team would have had a much better season, but the drivers have been making errors at the wrong times, haven't they?
It has literally just been a story of their season, as you say. I mean, I think Cunniff could have bagged a load more points than what he has done. Sometimes you just have to leave a little bit on the table rather than just go balls out every time. And as Nenad having a little look up the inside of turn 1, thinks better of it, tucks his nose back in.
I think he may have a better chance if he can follow him through this left-hander at turn 3. Might have a better chance of going through there. Williams, Barker, Nelson, Matejevich. Oh, it's 2 guys getting wheels onto the gravel there through there. Like kink down into this tight corner. It only takes 1 mistake, Alex, and Matejevich, quick driver that he is, he'll be through. As he was running in 2nd place earlier on, so he has the potential. He has race-winning speed.
Yeah, the only thing he's going to struggle with at the moment is that Nelson's good in the slipstream as well on Barker, so it makes it hard for Nenad to get a move done.
That may cost Nelson though, as Matejevich got a good run out of that final corner. If he stays in the slipstream of Barker, I don't think Matijevich is going to be able to get him. Going to have to go late on the brakes if he wants to get past. But as we said, it's tight in there.
Covers the inside, goes a little bit wide, then having a little look.
Very quick through the apex that time, Matijevich. And now he's going to have to defend hard. Is Nelson.
Ah, it's a great run from Nenad. Ah, so close to his gearbox there.
So through this first sector, Matijevich. He's round the outside. I think Nelson's just given up on that. I don't think he wants to risk a collision.
He's already been off on that corner once. Knows how long it takes to get back on.
Darren Kirk's out. Ryan Littlemore's in the pits. One of our ARL broadcast colleagues. Not been a good day for him, actually. Struggled since entering this series, but this is all experience for these guys for next season, which will be their main.
Got someone in the pits there. I think that's Williams in the pits.
Yes, and that's probably scheduled for him. So.
And Cameron are trying to defend up the inside, but I think he's done. Actually, it looks like he's let both drivers through there. I don't know what's quite happened there.
No, neither do I. That's. He's not teammates with either one of them, so no fun. Maybe he was couldn't handle the pressure. I don't know. But you don't usually let two cars through that easily on a road track, at least. Interesting to see whether it will be playing into the hands of his strategy. That might be what he's doing, slowing himself down a little bit now instead of getting embroiled in the battle, which might actually suit all three of these guys.
Well, I know Williams has gone past, and he's probably thinking, gone into pits, and he's probably thinking, well, if I'm defending like crazy, I'm just going to lose time. So let's let these quick guys go through, follow the lines, and perhaps try and gain any time lost from letting them go back, and perhaps a little bit more with trying to stick with them.
Yeah, that's it. It's one of the key things, when your opponent pits, you need good laps. But you will have lost time by letting these guys through. As you can see now, Cunniff has got past Allert. Oh, sorry, he's still in front of Allert. Allert's actually closed up on him a little bit. He almost had a look into turn 1. 40-lap races, but they're quite short laps on here. 1 minute and 5. The 2-mile circuit.
I think this is Sears on Nelson, I think, as well. Yeah,
it is. I don't know what's happened to Nelson.
Nelson, I think. Oh, and we've got. I think that's Barker off as well at the hairpin. So that corner's just caught another one out.
That means Williams will definitely be through then this time.
But yeah, Nelson went off at turn 1, just ran a little bit wide. I thought I heard the. I thought I heard sort of some gravelly grass noise in the background.
Yep.
And indeed it was.
Might have been in the old kid litter. He's very close to it again. Was Sears coming out of that final corner. It's a strange old track, this really, isn't it? It's quite an unusual circuit in many respects.
Yeah, I mean, it's. Once you get up to speed in it, it's got a nice little rhythm to it, but it really does punish you for mistakes.
I must admit, you drive this track for the first time and you think, what the heck is this? As Sears runs right over the gravel. He didn't lose a lot of time there. But yeah, you really think this is you don't think it's a very good track, to be honest. The first 2 times you go around it, but as you get the laps in, you develop a feel for it, and it's quite a nice track to drive, really, when you get up to speed. As that Cunniff and Alex came ever closer to Colin here, and just 4 tenths separated them as they came over the line for the 20th time.
Yeah, Alec caught up 4 tenths of a second on that lap alone, so he's really starting to put the pressure on Cunniff now.
These guys have got a 7-second advantage over the recovering Rodriguez and also Matijevich. So, got a little cushion, Cunniff and Alec, and if they race smartly, there is a top 5 here for the taking.
Yeah, Marco's dropping back a little bit from Velkov as well, 6.4 seconds now. But
also,
that said, he's quite clear of Wojciech at this point, so should be fairly comfortable just to push on.
yeah, Rabstin's dropped a little bit of time to the Italian there, and you know, sorry, Cunniff has had some trouble turning good performances into solid points, as we mentioned earlier on. This would be a good result for him if he can finish in the top 4.
Yeah, absolutely. He just needs to have, he just needs a clean race now. Many a times he's been in this position, so. And we've got Sears here, I think, with Barker behind him, and is that Mullen in front?
It is Thompson.
And Rodriguez is in the pits. It was indeed Thompson.
So somehow Thompson has got ahead of Sears and Barker. So Sears been off the track.
I'm guessing Sears must have been off again because Barker was only off.
10.
Yeah, Barker was just off the last lap, wasn't he? So at the hairpin. So it's not a surprise to see Thompson back there. So
he did a 1:10 on the last lap. Did Sears? I think that he's been off the road somewhere.
As we lost Hugo Pretro as well, throughput error. The downfalls of online sim racing.
So at the moment, yes, indeed. So at the moment, Venter is the final man on the track. He was 15th, Aaron Mullen 14th, Prescott 13th. What did we say happened to Dean at the beginning? Did he get involved in some contact?
Yeah, he just sort of bumped wheels with one of the Caterham cars just going into the hairpin. It sort of spun him a little bit to the right, and obviously there's only brick walls there. And yeah, he got some damage, so a bit unfortunate as Thompson comes into the pit. Let's just quickly time this actually, just to see what sort of time we should be expecting.
Just give a quick shout out to Lee as well. Not only is he one of our broadcast colleagues on the Grand Prix series, but he also makes some tremendous highlights videos as well. So those are cracking. So keep up the good work, Lee, as that's a good stop.
Yeah, 10.9 seconds.
So do you think tyres were changed there?
I thought I saw them being jacked up. I thought I saw the car being jacked up, but I could be mistaken. It's very unusual. And I think we've got...
It's just the leader in front of him there.
Who's that just come into the pits as well? I think that could be Cunniff in as well. It is indeed.
Cunniff out of P4. That releases John Allert. And Montaldo is in as well. He's obscured by that hutch in the pit lane. So Montaldo comes up out of the pit, sorry, just in front of Nelson. Interestingly.
Yeah, and it looks like Cunniff's going to come out just in front of his teammate. No, just behind, in fact.
I think Sears will... Well, it's just behind Sears, actually. So, could be quite interesting, but Sears hasn't pitted after having an off a couple of laps ago. So Velkov leads by 10.3. As you've got to think now that it'll be close to in the... Ah, there we go. Just as I say, Velkov is in for his one stop. He's performed very well so far, Velkov, hasn't he? As he has for most of the season, in fairness.
Yeah, he's been a solid driver all season.
I think also, you know, he's been unlucky, hasn't he? He could have won at Lime Rock. If it wasn't for an incident, he could have won. I think it was Silverstone. He could have won as well there.
I think yeah, Silverstone, Lime Rock come to mind.
So he, you know, that's 50 points that he could have had. 12-second
stop for Rabstein there. So let's hope Lee Thompson took on enough fuel with his stop.
That's Montaldo, Alex. Come out in front of Velkov. So that's very interesting.
Let's just have a quick look. I'm just going to bring up...
Slow stop for Peter there. Or did he take some tyres maybe?
Yeah, Montaldo was a 10.1. Peter Velkov, 19-second stop. Must have had tyres. It's the only explanation.
In fairness to him, he had a big lead, so the tyres are going to... Especially in these first few laps. Look at that, you can see already.
Is that Nelson off again?
Nelson, yeah, taking a little bit of the scenic route. John Allert leads at the moment. In fact, yeah, well, he leads temporarily into the pits. Matijevich is in as well from second. Yeah, but you can see now, Alex. Look how the tyres are making a difference for Velkov already.
Yeah, he obviously thought about it and knew Tyres with a 1.
Now he's lining Montaldo, but this is gonna be interesting. He's gonna kick himself if he can't get past the Italian now. Venezuela GP man. Volkov going round the outside. It is possible in this turn.
Look at the traction. Yeah, job's a good one.
It was all that fresh rubber, wasn't it, there, that did the job. And now I think he's going to just sail away from Marco on these new tyres. He had so much more grip, didn't he? To go round the outside. He had the confidence and the skill to pull it off. Look at the gap he's got already. It's nearly a second already.
Yeah, he's definitely done his homework as Peter, because he knew that he could push the tyres hard on that first stint. It wasn't going to become a problem. He was going to get some fresh boots on and be able to make some moves.
Not a bad idea, is it? Slaughtering the tyres in the first stint and just getting a new set, because you know, if you can get it, sometimes you get into a better rhythm, don't you? If you can just push harder, if you have more grip with the tyres.
Oh, looks like Thompson's losing it, coming out of the hairpin. He has indeed. Sears has gone through.
Oh, he's gone wide. They only lost one position to Sears. But they were fighting over that position anyway, so I think Thompson just dropped a bit further back. Nelson pitted on that. Well, he's in the pits now, so he's behind Rodriguez.
And we've also lost Barker as well, who actually just reconnected back to the server. Again, same thing, throughput error. So
Barker's back.
Another internet problem there, but it has dropped him all the way down to 15th and 3 laps down.
Well, that's pretty much ends any chance of points for him, unless we have a catastrophic ending to this event. Belkov with a lead of 1.2. which I suspect is going to be about 2.5 when we come over this time. Look at the lead he has now.
Conrad Venter here down in 14th place.
104.9 for Velkov, 105.9 for Montaldo, so another second added to the lead. Rabstin, have you got a time for Rabstin's pit stop, Alex?
Rabstin was 12 seconds.
So he wouldn't have taken any rubber either, you wouldn't think. Is it worth sometimes just maybe taking rear tyres on these Star Mazdas, possibly?
I think some of the guys were talking earlier on in the season that they were just taking 2, but it caused such an imbalance. If they were just taking fronts, for example, they'd have massive oversteer. If they were taking rears, it was causing a huge understeer. So it's a case of taking all 4 or nothing, really.
I suppose it's quite good if you haven't got a good balance on the car, you can change that with the tyres. We've done that before ourselves, haven't we, in the NASCAR? If you've had a big understeering car, taking 2 outside tyres does make a hell of a difference. But like you say, once the effect wears off, sort of a sitting duck really, aren't you? You're very slow once your 2 tyres are worn out.
We've got Aaron Mullen here coming under a bit of pressure from 2 laps down Barker.
Yeah, Barker was a bit quicker than Mullen earlier on, so it's not such a surprise. He might have some new tyres on that Ocean car as well. No real battles out on the circuit at the moment.
No, I was just about to say the same thing. Nothing for position, but oh, is that I think it's that Thompson with no, that was Mullen again, wasn't it? With Venter and then Barker behind him.
Yes, that's right.
Just missing his braking point into that turn 1. Critical corner for getting the brakes right there.
A bit of a scruffy race, that Aaron Mullen, to be honest. And you know, in terms of his proximity to the leaders, he did a very good qualifying. Like I say, just over a second off pole position. But unfortunately, in the race, he's just not come together for him.
We've got Nenad on screen, up to 6th place, following that mistake earlier on. He'll be a little bit gutted. I would have thought he'd have been sort of almost counting on a top 3 at this place.
I mean, he's
with Prasad not in there.
He's got half a chance of a top 4, well, top 5 probably. He's got half a chance of getting Cunniff, you would think, but well, Cunniff's been pretty quick. Let's have a look at the last time round. Cunniff was half a second quicker than Nenad, so Matijevich, I wonder if he's just driving a little scruffily because he's quite a long way behind. Desperately trying to wring out every ounce of performance in that Rapax car.
What's interesting is the 4.6 gap between Arla and Conniff. Obviously they pitted one lap after each other. And actually Conniff was quicker that time round as well, so I'm not sure what happened to Conniff, but he definitely got slowed down a little bit in that pit stop phase.
Yeah, let's have a look at his lap times off the road. Any point? Nothing obvious springs to mind. He's just had a few scruffy laps in the mid to high 106s. Although if these guys have been fueling up, obviously the car will be a little bit heavier, and if the tyres haven't been changed, you see the cars a bit slower in the middle of the race than they were even at the start. So I think Velkov's decision to take new tyres has definitely been paying off. Let's have a look at his lap times. Since the pit stop, 105.7, 104.9, 105.0, 104.7, 105.5. So yeah, it's about a second a lap quicker than everyone behind him on old tyres. And over 20 laps between his pit stop and the end of the race, you know, that's second a lap, 20 seconds, that's probably worth the pit stop time.
We've got Velkov putting a lap on Prescott here.
Or at least tried to. Not particularly comfortable for our leader here. Didn't make it that easy for him.
I'm not sure if Dean even realises who it is. Surely he does. Yeah, he does. He moves over. 10 laps to go.
The last thing we need is
Peter was... Yeah, Peter was coming through there anyway. Give him a little bit of a love kiss from behind just to get him to get out of the way. I can understand Dean's trying to chase down Thompson here as well, but if you can stay on the back of Velkov just for a couple of laps, you should be able to try and make an opportunist pass.
He's recovered well as Prescott actually from that, from those early shenanigans.
He's had a couple of stops as well, so he's good to the end of the race.
Yeah, and he's actually only, you know, to be only 1 minute and 10 seconds behind at this point, having had an extra pit stop and contact on the first lap, I think it's a pretty good effort. But is he faster than Thompson? I don't know. I don't think he is.
And we've got Williams here, P8 for the Dams.
Yeah, and he's not far behind Rodriguez either. I think Rodriguez has just recently overtaken him actually, so Williams will be looking to stay in that 8th. He's about 6 to 7 seconds in front of Paul Nelson. Not a bad result for Paul, it'll be if he finishes 9th actually, considering he's been off the road so many times. Wojciech Rabstin in 3rd, still driving solidly, 2.6 behind Montaldo. Velkov's increased the lead to 5 seconds, but interestingly, Alex, his lead was nearly 10 seconds at the pit stops. So
yeah,
he hasn't really gained anything by taking these tyres, really.
Yeah, still a net gain at the moment for Marco, but we'll see come the end of the race. I'm pretty sure he's going to be over 10 seconds clear.
Yeah, Montaldo's tyres aren't going to be as good. There's no such thing really in the Star Mazda as the tyres being completely shot, is there? They're quite hard tyres, quite durable.
Well, and I think with the new build as well, the tyres have become even more durable, so...
Yeah, I mean, we know what these sort of lower Formula tyres are like. They're not like Formula 1 tyres. They're not as grippy as you can get, for instance. They are, you know, made to run just 1, maybe 2 sets of race. Keep costs down. Fortunately for Velkov, he doesn't have to pay for his tyres. By racing. See what we've got here. Well, the gap between Matijevich and Conniff is staying pretty static. Matijevich was half second quicker, but he's still 5 seconds. It's only 3 seconds behind him now. So Conniff's got to watch out for Matijevich if he wants to keep that 5th place. 7 laps to go. Summit point.
Yeah, it's a bit of a disjointed race at the moment, but maybe we'll see some...
Conniff's pushing hard. 2 wheels on the gravel there, sorry mate.
So let's just switch over and have a quick look at Conniff.
Takes that inside line into the hairpin, very tight line.
Yeah, it must just be a bit
wider line in.
Must be a bit tricky to get it braked in a straight line on that outside line, which is I think what we saw with Prescott at the start of the race. So maybe maybe it's
still...
worth just straightening it out a bit on entry.
Yeah, if you're still turning right when you hit the brakes there, there's a propensity to go off to the direction you're braking in, you're steering in, sorry. There's
Thompson's coming under even more pressure here from Prescott.
Yes, and he's quite a way now behind Sears. Sears has the final points paying position at the moment. And that's pretty safe for him, to be honest.
Yeah, it's only really if he makes a mistake. I'm not sure if Velkov's even going to get up to Sears to be able to lap him. So,
well, I mean, it's possible, but it's going to be it's going to be tight, I think. But Thompson, that spin really cost him, didn't it?
He's had a couple of moments, I think, today. Thompson. He's been in the pits twice as well, so I'm not sure what that was about.
Or as he takes some kitty litter there as well. Montaldo's 2.4 ahead of Ramstein. See if that gap changes. No, still 2.4, so these two have been very evenly matched throughout the whole race. Ramstein was half a tenth quicker on that lap, but Velkov was 8/10ths quicker, those new tyres.
Yeah, it was 0.02 of a second between those two, second and third, but yeah, wow, 8/10ths from the leader. He's just flying away.
John Alec with a good lap time as well, 106.0. That lap. Cunniff 107.9. Really struggling actually. He's right in front of Matijevich now. So I don't know what's happening with the Coloni team. They seem to be making sloppy errors today. Cunniff.
Oh, talking of errors, Nanad absolutely on the limit there, just kicking up a whole load of gravel.
I mean, not sure what it is with Cunniff. He's a very quick driver, but cuts out the mistakes. I think he could definitely be a race winner in this series, you would think. As how long can he keep Matijevich behind? I think on pace, we saw that Cunniff qualified, well, exactly half a tenth.
Thompson's
behind
made a
Matijevich.
mistake into turn one. We just caught that on secondary camera.
So unfortunately for Lee Thompson, he's had a clean race in terms of contact with other drivers, or other drivers hitting him, should I say, but unfortunately for him this time, he's been the architect of his own downfall at some point. Shame really, as he's had the pace for points. He was in 8th or 9th earlier on.
Yeah, Cunniff's here. It's looking like now it's getting closer and closer to him.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, how hard is it, Alex, not to concentrate? Sorry, how hard is it to concentrate and not to panic at this point when you've got one of the very fast drivers in the league behind you?
Well, right now it's not too bad. You've got 4 laps to go, but when it becomes, you know, extreme levels of pressure, will be that last lap. It's hard enough when you've got someone behind you, but when it's someone fast and the last lap, you're expecting them to try something. That's when the pressure really sets in.
Ramstein was closing in on Montaldo. I don't know whether he made a mistake because it was 1.8 seconds between the two. It looks a bit more than that now. About 3 seconds now, so.
Yeah, Thompson come off just in front of Ramstein, and I think that slowed him down a little bit. So.
Right. Wins that one.
Oh, Nenad sideways going over the crest. That's probably scuppered any chance he's got. Pressure will be off of Cunniff now, and we've got one of the Venezuela cars spinning there as well. I think that could be Montaldo. It is indeed, and Ramstein round the outside.
What Montaldo was doing there? Let's go back and see. Missed it.
Well, for sure we're going to
carry on.
I just think he lost it, and I don't think he necessarily actually rotated all the way around. He just sort of caught it.
Then he lost a lot of drive because he must have been in the wrong gear. Oh, well, this will make it interesting for second place now. Ramstein did look a little bit quicker. That might have woken him up after that mistake earlier on. Velkov, 12 seconds in front. Been helped by those errors behind him.
We've got somebody else off as well. Sounded like it. No, we're not. Just slow-moving cars coming out of that hairpin.
Yeah, it looks like Matiewicz's goose is cooked, with regards to finishing 5th at least. Got to think, unless Cunniff makes a mistake now, Matijevic is not going to be able to catch him.
Oh, is that Lee in the background or Mullen? One of the caterers anyway. They're not having fun out there. As Velkov puts
Thompson.
a lap there on, I think that's Charles.
It is Thompson. Did he spin? He went a bit wide, wheel on the grass. Half spin. Good save, sir. Good save. I think he hit anything, so got away with that.
Just trying to get it home at this point, I think.
Yep, and I must admit, some of the drivers not having a very good outing, even trying to get it home. Montaldo's been off, Rabstin's been off. Thompson.
And that was Alec kicking up a whole load of gravel as well. Theme of today.
These guys are definitely trying. I just can't fault the effort.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Marco's going to be able to get on the back of Wojciech here.
No, and that last lap, Rabstin was half a second quicker.
As we do enter the last lap of the race, just jump on board with the leader.
Yeah, Velkov's had a very good run today. And a good strategy decision as well. It just gave him a little bit more peace of mind, you would think. He's had an excellent race. And into this complex for the last time. Next to tight line. I think that's where that new paving is, Alex. There's a concrete. There's newly resurfaced, well, or more recently resurfaced part of this track. I think that's where that is on the inside line. 2 corners to go then. Beautifully taken. Right-hander, just a fast right-hander to go. He's not holding back even on the last lap and nearly runs into the gravel. But Peter Velkov is going to win round 12 at Summit Point. I don't know where he's ended up there. Over and over and round and down.
Good old Summit Point. You gotta love it for that stuff.
Up high and down hard. There's Wojciech Ramstein. Up goes.
I think that's Prescott. Yeah.
Up goes Dean Prescott. Marco Montaldo in 3rd. John Allett is going to come over in P4 and doesn't engage in any of that childish tomfoolery. I respect you for that, sir. Colin Cunniff in P5. Just ahead of Matijevic, who had a chance, didn't take it. Rodriguez in 7th. Williams in 8th. You got Nelson coming over in 9th. Only a second behind Williams, so good race. And everybody drove hard. But Velkov, he was a class above today, wasn't he?
It was. It was, yeah, just domination. If it's not Represard, Peter's there to step up, I reckon.
Well, I think he needed to win that race if he's got any hope of the title. Although realistically, you've got to, there's a mathematical probability, but there's realistically beating Tony over the second half of the season. Which, to be honest, I don't think he can. I don't think anybody can do that consistently.
Well, he got himself 25 points today for sure, which isn't going to hurt his chances. You never know what might happen. It's only got to take back marker in the wrong place like he's had, or something like that, and that's another 25 points that he could pick up. Something else happens, that's his lead pretty much gone.
Well, yeah, and Matijevic as well. He picked up some points today, 8 points, but not as many as he would have wanted or needed, really. But I'm sure for the rest of the season, there's still 8 races to go, so a lot of points up for grabs. We have 200 points available, so
I don't think
50 points. What's the lead now of Reposad?
Well, 25 points less. That's going to be 72 points. Oh no, sorry.
Was Velkov in second?
No, he wasn't. It was Nenad actually. So
But I think Velkov will probably move into second, will he, with that?
I think he will. He was 136 versus 151. I tell you what. Let me just see if Mr. Mawson's on the case.
That means
Sometimes he.
Velkov should be in front of Matevich now. Then by 2 points, possibly. So
Yeah, sometimes Tim's on the case, but he's not today. I don't see him in the channel.
Battle for second is definitely hotting up. I think it was a good, solid race. So you know, like I say, everybody fought hard. There's some good battles there. But again, Alex just illustrated just how tough this track can be when you're on the limit.
Well, we said it. I think we called it on the places we would see guys going off, and you know, true enough, we saw a few instances here and there, and it's affected the race.
I am quite pleased that we didn't really see any contact between drivers today, apart from at the start. So that was pleasing aspect. You know, the stewards will have an easy night, I think.
I guess I missed that at Brands Hatch. So sounds like fun. Got a couple of drivers joining us in the interview channel. Let's drag Mr. Conniff up for a quick chat.
I don't think we spoke to him for a few races, actually.
Good evening, Colin.
Evening.
Tell us a little bit about your race today, buddy. How did that go for you?
Oh, it was hard work. It was really hard work. It was just a lot of small mistakes, seemed to be every lap, and nothing right. Fifth place just seemed to inherit rather than anything else.
So this car and track combo, a tricky little one then, I would say.
It's a bit like Lime Rock, I've said at the start. It's very bumpy. You just got to hang on to the car rather than drive it, and bumps just throw you all over the shop. And with this car, it is at the moment, there's just no consistency at all, so you just kind of get into a rhythm.
So you're saying that, sorry Woody, just one last quick question. So you're saying there about the consistency of the car. I'm taking that's the change from the new build. You know, can you sort of break it down, what your view is, what's changed, and how it's affecting, you know, how you prepare for a race and setups and things?
Well, personally, I've found that like the entry oversteer is really bad. I've just struggling with it everywhere, and won about it a lot in the forums and stuff. But I've just been struggling, and this was actually one of the first place since the new build came out that I've actually felt comfortable. But because I felt comfortable, I've drove it pretty much every day, and I've sort of overdrove it. Too much practice, and I'd done too much with my setup. If I'd just kept with what I've had before, I probably would have been a bit quicker today.
Given the fact that it's fair to say you've thrown away a couple of good results this season. Are you pleased that you've managed to pick up a top 5 there today?
Yeah, well, I said today I thought, right, top 5 podium would be great. I was actually thought I'd be better than I was today. I couldn't get a decent quality lap in, and the races didn't seem to go well. We did a wee practice before we came on, and the car felt fine, but as soon as I came on to the practice here, I just could not get any consistency in the car at all.
It's often the case. I mean, what's the most difficult part of this track for you? Because we were saying that the hairpin complex is difficult.
Yeah, turn 4 and 5. Going into 5 is a very difficult braking zone. Then after that, 6, 7, 8 and 9 is just, like I say, you're just hanging onto the car, waiting for a bump to throw you off, just controlling the throttle. All your time's lost there, really.
So we're at Sonoma next week as well, so you wanted a bumpy track. I don't think they come any more bumpy, so yeah, 35 laps. How are you looking forward to that one?
Didn't enjoy that one really before when we had to go there. Apart from a wee test in the F1 car, I haven't really driven it much, but we'll see how it goes, I suppose.
That's going to be a hard-fought race. We were just saying that we think that it's going to be very unlikely for anybody to catch Tony. Are you of that opinion as well? Do you think is he just too good, or is there anything anybody else can do for the rest of the season?
I think he's got it in the bag now, unless somebody kills him or something like that. But I don't think that they're going to have to resort to that. It's not. But no, it's definitely he's got it in the bag now. I think even if he sits out the next 4 races, I think he would still win the race. He's just got the hang of this car to a T, and people can challenge him, but he will always be up there fighting for the win.
Well, thanks very much, Colin. Congratulations on your 5th place, buddy, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys. Nice to have you back, Alex.
Cheers. Right, thanks very much there for Colin. We've got our race winner up, so I wondered if we can drag him up and have a little chat with him.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Dominant today. Peter, hello.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to the commentary box then. Terrific race from yourself today. You must be very, very pleased.
Yeah, awesome.
How did you put in a good qualifying lap today, and did you think that with the pole position you could follow that up and convert that into a win?
Well, I wasn't sure during the practice. I was first, but always thought the guys are keeping it in themselves and not show the true pace. But turn out, my pace is good and great start. Not much time in the pits. Even my strategy was relatively new for the front runners to change all tires. Nobody does that, I think, from the top 10, but it worked very well for this track, and I think that's why I won.
Yeah, we picked up on the pit stop that you had some 19 seconds compared to everybody else around about 10, so we put 2 and 2 together and come up with the right answer that you took tyres, and it seemed pretty apparent when you drove straight round the outside of Marco that fresh rubber just making all the difference for you.
Yeah, I'm glad I could do the pass right away, and then on the twist section, of course, he had no chance with his old tires.
Yeah, we said that it was a risky strategy, but having said that, going to Sonoma next week is a similar track in terms of being very technical and twisted. Do you think that? Well, I know you're probably not going to give much away, but do you think that strategy could be beneficial next week as well?
It depends. I never been to the track. I race here on the Spec Racer on the Grand Touring cars, and I know this track. It's not my favorite, but I like it, and have a feel for it. But I don't know Sonoma. This is Infineon, yes?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. If you want some tips, we've got a man in the commentary box who can help you, Mr. Simpson.
Thanks. I want tips.
I can give you an FW31 setup for it, but that's about as far as it goes. I'm not sure I can give you any tips. It's just that it's difficult to overtake and it's bumpy as anything. Lots of blind corners, so yeah, you'll have fun there for sure.
I hope so. Today was really enjoying race for me.
We're off to obviously we're off to Sonoma next week, so you've caught up 25 points on Tony this week. Do we think we can carry on with that sort of pace and perhaps try and bag another win?
I hope so, but we don't know really. He wasn't here today, and he was always fast, but this time maybe I could have challenged him, I don't know.
I have to say your pace looked pretty dominant today, and I think even he would have had a tough job keeping up with you there.
Yeah, the tires!
Congrats again, Peter. Go and enjoy the victory, my friend.
Thanks. Good luck, guys. See you again soon. Bye.
Well done, mate. Great performance there. He really was just a cut above everyone else today, wasn't he? He just had that the extra tenth or two he had in qualifying just seemed to translate over to the race perfectly for him.
Yeah, it did indeed, and actually, I've just noticed very, very quickly, Mr. Mawson has joined the TeamSpeak channel. I'm guessing he's probably updated the tables, so let's just have a quick look, refreshing, and indeed they have been updated.
Those
So,
hamsters are working overtime in
yeah,
that computer, aren't
straight in there, so we see the first DNS for Mr. Reprisard there, so still on 248. Velkov does indeed take second place in the championship by a mere 2 points from Nenad, so that spin was pretty costly for him.
That's
Marco
a few
Montaldo in fourth, but 87 points is the gap now.
Going to be a few drivers that are like ruining mistakes today. I can guarantee you that. Especially Nenad and Rodriguez. And apparently, Rodriguez there's a tiny bit of contact with someone earlier on, which slightly knocked his steering out, I think. So, it might have been different for him if it wasn't for a mistake. So.
Well, shall we get our last interviewer up, and shall we have Mr. Williams?
Yeah, why not? He did a good race today for 8th. Be worth having a chat with him.
Hello?
Hello.
Evening, Liam. Welcome to the booth. Good race for you today. Started 12th, finished 8th. You must be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it was quite an easy race, really. Just kept it on track, and all the positions came from that.
Noticed actually you were fairly lonely throughout that. Go through the start then and tell us just how tricky that is on the first lap with the cold tyres, and it's a first corner and the first complex, very tricky.
Oh, especially with that many cars around you at the beginning. I just took it easy. I probably lost, I think, just one position going into turn 1, and yeah, luckily I had a bit of a gap behind me around the first couple of laps, so I could just keep on the back of the pack in front and try not to crash.
We did see actually behind you, the guys at the back of the grid got into a bit of a tangle, so it's better to take it a little bit easy, I think, and lose a position or two than to be out of the race on the first corner. And I mean, Alex, you know about these single seaters, very delicate. Any touch can be a disaster.
I know all too well. Yeah, that's the thing in that first lap. I mean, you want to be aggressive and try and make some move, but there's always a part in the back of your head that just says, you need to you need to survive. So I know you've been sort of hard pushed this week with practice as well, Liam. Are you still on jury service, is it, or?
Yes. Yeah, so that's... Can't talk about that, though.
I understand.
No, understandable.
But, yeah.
So, are you the one who... Are you the replacement, then, for that jury that got thrown out the other day?
No, I could say that I'm not.
I don't know.
We know that our justice system's in good hands with Mr. Williams, anyway.
We hope.
Are you enjoying the experience, though?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Interesting.
It's certainly left you with not a lot of time on your hands. I know that you've been hard pushed with the Williams practice as well, as in the FW31. So
splitting the two cars is particularly difficult, really.
how much preparation did you have for today's race?
I managed to get a couple of hours in, so I was quite well prepared. I had a setup I was really happy with. So yeah, I felt quite confident going into it.
And where was your Dams teammate tonight?
Oh, I have no idea. Probably chewing someone's ear off somewhere.
How did you? How are you preparing for Sonoma? Then do you think that's going to be a good one for you?
Hope is all I can do for Sonoma.
Oh dear.
Well, you've drove the track this season already in some form, perhaps not this layout, but should be interesting.
That'll be an interesting first few corners. I think turn 2 could be a little bit of a pile up, so getting a good quality is going to be important.
Well, congratulations on picking up 2 points today? 4 points.
Yep.
Yeah, place.
Unfortunately, he did drop down a place in the championship with Wojciech grabbing a right handful, but 28 points at the minute. Still in the top 10.
Wojciech, so I'm kind of gunning for 9th in the championship in the remaining 6 races.
Yeah, I think if you start showing the consistency that you have, get rid of those odd little races where like the 14th and the 15th here and there, I think you could find yourself well in that top, that battle for 9th place even.
Yeah, hopefully so.
Alright, Liam, thanks very much, buddy. We'll catch you next week. Until then, have a good one.
Yeah, good luck.
See ya.
Alright, and on that note, I think we'll wrap it up and call it a day, my friend.
Right, indeed. Just want to wish you luck as well for the weekend.
Thank you.
I know you'll be gunning for that top step of the podium, make it happen. And good luck to everybody who's competing in the Daytona 500 as well. That's today and tomorrow. So, well, sorry, tomorrow, 2 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the evening, and that's GMT. So, good luck for all those trying to avoid the Russian roulette that is the super speedway.
We'll obviously be back tomorrow morning. Are you back tomorrow morning with me? I said that.
Indeed.
Yep. For
ARLTV for V8 Supercar Series. Normal, the usual suspects, i.e. us two.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you where it was because I just haven't looked. I'm totally unprepared. Professional, you know. But yeah, so we'll see you tomorrow morning for those that want to tune in on that. Get yourselves up.
Yes, guys.
Thanks a lot, and we'll see you then.
We've done that with iRacing. We're creating a new NASCAR sanctioned series, a new division of NASCAR that people from all over the world can compete in from their homes.
They're all just fans really wanting to know and to be able to get as close to the realism of driving a race car as possible. And there's nothing really that catches it quite like iRacing.
It can be a tool for guys that don't have a lot of experience at a track or don't, have never been somewhere. You can crash a lot. It doesn't hurt. Doesn't cost you a lot of money, and you can get an idea what's going on before you ever get to the racetrack.